Alright, so the second graphing form that we want to do is, so this is going to be graphing form number 2, and it's going to be f of x equals negative x squared minus 8x minus 18. Okay, so in this problem, this is different because we have that negative right there. And when we complete the square, this has to be, the a has to be 1. So we need to take care of and kind of move this negative so we can complete the square. So to do that first, I'm going to add 18 over here and then add it here. And so then we get f of x plus 18 equals negative x squared minus 8x. So remember, this x squared has to be positive, so I'm going to divide this side by negative 1, and then I'm going to divide this side by negative 1. So remember, you guys, remember what we think of this side as. We think of it as a parking lot, right? We're gonna park it here, and then when we get finished with the problem, we're gonna move everything back. Okay, so think parking lot, it's not gonna stay there. So now when you divide by negative 1, we're gonna get x squared plus 8x. Alright, now at this point I can complete the square, right? And so x squared, 4x, 4x. So x is 4, x is 4. Remember, I'm just splitting what 8 is, so this has to be 16. So to get my perfect square here, or to complete the square, I have to add 16. So remember, I'm going to add 16 on this side as well. So then I still have all of this hanging out, divided by negative 1. So the whole reason we did this was to make it a perfect square. So we know that it factors to x plus 4 squared. I'm going to bring the 16 back over. So I'm going to subtract 16, not 2, subtract 16. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides. Well, I'll write this out, negative 1. So I'm going to multiply this side by negative 1, and then I'm going to multiply this side by negative 1. And remember, when you multiply this side, you got to multiply both items by negative 1. So what you end up getting is you're going to get f of x plus 18 equals negative x plus 4 squared plus 16. And then I'm going to subtract by 18 on both sides, subtract 18. So then I'm going to get f of x equals negative x plus 4 squared minus 2. So this is my graphing form of my equation. So that tells me my vertex is going to be negative 4, negative 2. Oh, that's horrible. Let's try that again, negative 2. And then I know my a value is going to be negative 1. And so this tells me that my quadratic is going to open down. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to go over 4 and then down 1, 2. And then remember, my a value is negative 1. So remember, from our graph, instead of going up over 1, up 1, over 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to flip it and we're going to go the other way, right? We're going to go over 1 and then down 1, and then over 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so we're going to have these points here, and then our graph is going to open down. So here, I go over 1, down 1, right? And then I go over 2 and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then over 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm just off the graph. Again, I like to use my axis of symmetry, and then I'm going to just use symmetry to figure out what my points are, 1, 2, 3, and then about right here. So then my graph kind of looks like this. And so as you can see here, if we were to solve this, if we were to make f of x 0 and we solve this, we would get that our roots are going to be imaginary numbers because we don't cross the x-axis. Okay, and then this was to deal with when you have an a value of -1.